1. For some context, I'm a 19-year-old female and I've been told I'm really attractive, so getting unwanted attention isn't unusual for me. Usually it's just older men staring or catcalling me, but this one incident really scared me. About 3 weeks ago, there was this big music festival going on, and my city was full of people coming from all around the country. My cousin had come from a long way to attend this festival and was staying at a hotel. I rarely get to see her because she lives a 12-hour car ride away from me, so I was really excited to meet with her in her hotel room. Both of us are over the age of 18, and in my country it's legal for us to drink alcohol. So we drank some sparkling wine and I helped her get ready for the festival. Soon she left to the festival area, and I went to see a few friends and listen to the festival music farther away. I'm not going to lie, I was already a bit tipsy at this point. We were young and having fun, having a few drinks, and I was starting to get drunk. Still, we decided to meet with more friends and go to a bar where I drank even more. At this point I was really drunk, not able to walk straight or think clearly. Not to mention I hadn't slept for over 48 hours. The evening had been great. I had made new friends and had a lot of fun, but the time was about 4 a.m. and the bar was closing, so we decided it was time to go home. Outside of the bar was my best friend, who lives on the other side of the city from me. She said she wasn't going to let me go home since I was really tired and still a bit drunk. She was worried I'd fall asleep on the bus or get lost. She wanted me to come to her place for the night. I told her I wanted to go home and sleep in my own bed. Thinking back, I should have went with her. So she started to head back home, and our other friends walked back to their home since they lived together. All of them were a bit skeptical letting me go home alone, but none of them stopped me. So there I was, a young woman at 4 a.m. waiting for her bus at the bus stop. There would be a 30-minute wait before the bus were to come. I wasn't scared at all, why should I be? I knew this city well, and there were people all around me going home from bars. And I wasn't even alone at the bus stop. There were these two young women, maybe a couple years older than me, waiting for their bus. Everything was fine. Then out of the blue, a man came up to me, grabbed my waist and pulled me closer. I quickly pushed him away. The man was about 35 to 40 years old and had light brown hair. I still remember his light blue eyes and red face. He was really tall, probably 180 to 185 centimeters. That's 5'9 to 5'6 for you Americans. And twice my size. So I felt really small and weak. He was clearly really drunk and couldn't even stand without swaying back and forth. My heart was pounding and I was in shock. What the hell had just happened, I thought. The man stumbled away from me, looking offended. "The fuck?" he mumbled. He clearly didn't understand what he had done wrong. I just ignored him and forced myself to look away. I didn't want him to get any ideas or to think I was into him. I knew exactly what the man wanted from me, and it disgusted me. I could see him coming closer to me, but I didn't want to pay attention to him. Finally, he was so close to me that his arm was touching mine. "Can you move further away? You're making me uncomfortable," I snapped at him.
"The fuck? What is this?"
He was offended again. This man clearly had issues. I walked up to the other two women who were waiting for their bus and asked if I could wait with them. They agreed and comforted me because I was shaking and hyperventilating. I was about to have a panic attack. That's when I saw the man walking really close to another woman, waiting for her bus alone. She was about the same age as me. I couldn't let the man harass another woman like he had done to me. So I stood up without thinking and went up to them. "You need to go away. Go home. Go to hell. I don't care as long as you stay away from women," I told the man, firmly looking at him.
"What are you talking about?"
the man said once again. I explained to the young woman what he had done to me, and the man looked offended.
"You must have mistaken me for someone else. I haven't done that. You're crazy,"
he said. At this point, he started taking a video of me with his phone. The young women I had talked with went to their buses, and I was left alone. There was still a 15-minute wait alone with the man. There was no way I was going to do that. I noticed these two men and asked them to walk me to the hotel my cousin was staying at, and they agreed. The last time I saw the creepy man, he was stumbling on the streets. I don't know where he went after that or what happened to him, but I really hope he didn't hurt anyone. I was really lucky I wasn't alone on that bus stop that night, and I don't want to think what would have happened if I were. Creepy drunk man at the bus stop. I hope we never meet again. 2. So it was 2011. I was 17, and I was a typical high school student during the last year of high school. studied hard and mostly cared about the finals, but also secretly longed for some overwhelming romantic love in my life. My high school was affiliated with the university, so every autumn we had students who came to do their teaching internship, or practice, as we called it. It usually lasted for 2 or 3 months, depending on the subject they taught. And usually they were female interns who came. In my country, the majority of teachers are women. For privacy reasons, I will not say where. But that's another topic. This year it was an exception. A new intern was an extremely good-looking guy. And it was not me, blind with love, who thought so. Later I found out he worked as a male model in our city, who was around 24 or 25, and who taught math and had this geeky charm. Even though he didn't teach my class, at least half of the girls there had a crush on him. And it is not an exaggeration to say that a fair share of the school got crazy. I was no exception, of course. So every time I saw him in the corridors, I smiled and tried to catch his attention, because in my head, he looked like a perfect Prince Charming, and with every day I was more and more into him. I thought he also liked me, but you can never be sure in these matters until something happens. And something happened. I wish it never did. He found me through the social media and wrote me a message from an empty profile, saying that he has been watching me, that I am beautiful, and he wanted to get to know me. Sounds romantic, right? I could not believe my eyes when I got it. It was a dream come true. He asked me a whole bunch of different questions, ranging from my favorite movie to where I live, and it turned out that we lived close by. On the first evening, we chatted all evening, and he even suggested doing a romantic thing as to turn the light on and off in the window so that we could see each other. He was finishing his practice in our school at that time, so he called me out for a date after it. I agreed, but decided to slow down and communicate only through social media, as I was super shy in real life and I needed time to adapt. That was when it started to get creepy. First, he started to tell me that I was meant for him and there's no way around it, and he felt it the first time he saw me. But judging from my answers to his questions, he understood that I did not behave correctly and I need guidance. I want a career and I want to study in a big city in my country, while the woman should care for her man and her family only. So I should stay in my hometown with him. His logic was that he was my fate and our meeting had happened, so what else could I look for in this world? He offered me his educational services through some religious stories he sent me, and through extracts from the Bible that I started to receive daily from the second day since we met. That started to get on my nerves, and I did not like him as much anymore, but only after the next creepy thing did I become really concerned. In 3 or 4 days since we met, he came to my house and asked the concierge the number of my flat, since after the first evening he knew I lived on the top floor and he tried to get in. Luckily, she did not let him. He wrote a message to me that he wanted to surprise me and maybe meet my parents. WTF. This was when I understood that it's not romantic, it's actually abnormal. And I told him I need a break from our communication and deleted him from my social media. He did not want to take a break, and he started to follow me on my way from school to home. As he said, to talk and to clarify that he only wanted good for me, which was exceptionally creepy. And while the first day he followed me home to the bus stop, later he tried to follow me to the house. Luckily I told my friends about that and they went with me. That seemed to just infuriate him, not calm him down. Somewhere he got my phone number, I believe from one of my classmates who was unaware, and during his last days in school I received messages like, "I'm in the school building, run and hide," and "I imagine you all so scared hiding in the girls' bathroom now while I'm still here." Then the peak of the story is when I came home from school, and I had a 3 or 4 day break from his attempts to talk to me, and the concierge told me that the guy came again and left a box for me. I did not know what to do with it, so I brought it home. Yes, stupid me. I say now as a 26-year-old, and he wrote me an SMS that if I opened the box, he will leave me alone. I decided to throw it away, since I snuck a look inside the box and saw that there were some chocolates and a treat for my dog. But at that point, I did not exclude the fact that it could be unsafe. After that, I finally told my mom about all this mess happening, because before that, she was aware only of the romantic side of the story. She decided to get involved immediately once she got all the details. So she took his phone number and called him, She told him that if he doesn't leave me alone, she will tell the school administration about his actions, and that he will have problems at the university with both the practice and his ethical principles in general. I would love to say that he disappeared forever after that, but nope. This was all happening in March, and then he graduated in June and started writing and tried to stalk me again, judging from reports from my grandmother. But this time he could not. I got accepted to the university I wanted, and moved there soon after. So, intern guy, when I come to my hometown for a visit or anywhere else in the world, I hope we never meet again. 3. So this happened when my friend and I were 15 years old. We both lived super close to each other, so I'd often go to her place after school to do homework and hang out. A little info. Her house has a park that pretty much backs up to it, and a side entrance to the park is literally right next to her house. It's typically only used by people in the neighborhood, but you are immediately in the thickest part of the woods when you enter from that entrance. So it was a Friday, and we really didn't have any homework for the weekend. Her mom had dropped us off at the house and left to do errands, so we decided to go on a walk with her dog. We live in a very good neighborhood with low crime, and we were very familiar and comfortable with this park. Plus, there being 2 of us with a dog during the day, we weren't at all worried. So we change out of our school uniforms, get some hiking shoes on, and make our way to the park entrance. We start our walk, and the day is perfect for being outside. We instantly fall into comfortable conversation as we head to our favorite part of the woods. Sorry if this is confusing, but I'll try to explain the trail as best as possible. So there's a couple miles of winding paved trail until we run into the first split. If you go left, it will lead you to the main park area with swings, restrooms, picnic area, and all of that. If you go right, it leads to a bridge that will take you to another trail option. We went right to head over the bridge since the trail we wanted was that way. This is where things got weird. We began making our way over the bridge and see a runner heading in our direction. We both moved to the side to let him pass, and I just got a really bad feeling. You know the one, hair standing on ends, heart speeding up, and just a true sense of alarm by this person. He passed us and stared back at us over his shoulder a while, but I mostly decided I was being overly paranoid or he was staring at the dog, because who doesn't like looking at a cute dog? After all, he seemed pretty average and non-threatening in general. Still, I tucked it in the back of my mind to just stay a little more aware of our surroundings. So we continue on our walk, which leads to another 2 trail options. Left continues as a paved area, and right is a dirt trail that is overgrown in spots. We took the right because it was deeper into the woods, and where our hangout spot was. So our spot is completely off the dirt trail, and we have to walk across a log over a small amount of the creek to get to it. So not many people know about this area, which is why we liked it. Most people don't even take the dirt trail unless they are bird watching or taking nature photos. We get to our spot, and we hang out just chatting about life. We both didn't have the best home life, crazy mothers putting it mildly, so it was nice to be able to chat with each other about stuff in privacy. Maybe 10 minutes after we made it to this spot, we heard a branch snap at a distance from us. From where we were, we could see that someone was on the dirt trail, but whoever it was wouldn't have an easy view of us. We look over, and my heart just drops. I can just make out the runner from the bridge through the trees. He had on bright red shorts, so it was easy to tell it was him. Immediately, we both knew that something was not right. This isn't a trail that someone out on a run would ever take, and he obviously turned around on his run to head back in our direction. And he had originally come from the paved trail that we didn't take earlier, so alarm bells were ringing. He walks past our spot and quietly continues down the dirt trail, no longer running like he's trying to be quiet. We are at a decent distance, and thankfully he was keeping his gaze forward, or he might have seen us. My friend and I are silently watching, and when he is out of view, she turns to me and says, "We need to go now." And I say, "Yeah, something is not right about that guy." My friend just nods yes. She lets her dog off her leash. She is very good at following, and she would be able to move faster without the lead, and so would we. I do not have to mention this dog will not be helpful if this situation escalates because she failed at being a service dog because she was overly friendly to strangers. I.e., she couldn't stay focused on her tasks. Very obedient, but everyone is a friend, so no help coming from her. He hadn't even been deterred from seeing her to begin with. She was just a smaller yellow lab. We take off at this point, trying to be quiet. And fast, because we will have to cross over the dirt trail that he was on, and we don't want him coming back and seeing us. My friend falls scrambling across the log into the creek. I slip at the end, so both of us have very waterlogged shoes, and we panicked because of the noise. We just take off, knowing that we already made a ton of noise anyways. We didn't run back to the paved area because we were too deep into the woods at this point, and a straight shot was our best bet. We very quickly hear noise from behind us, and she yells to me, "He's following us!" I am not a runner, but adrenaline saved the day because I could have ran a marathon with how scared I was. We were crashing through bushes and not following any sort of trail at this point, but heading in the direction we needed to go to get out of the woods and closer to her house. We had to be running for at least 15 minutes, and most of the time my friend is yelling directions to me from behind because she can see the guy. I'm clumsy, and I knew if I looked back that I'd be the idiot to trip like in the movies. At some point we either lost him, or he gave up, but we finally broke through the woods into the field between the woods and the houses in her neighborhood. We jogged close to the fences, heading to the house, scanning the edge of the woods and trying to get oxygen back into our lungs. We never saw anything once we made it out of the woods, but we didn't feel safe until we got inside her house. We were a mess. She's soaked up to her thighs and I'm soaked up to my calves. At one point I wrapped my hands around branches coated with thorns, so my hands are bleeding. She has some rips in her pants and shirt, and her dog was perfectly fine because she didn't fall into the creek like an idiot and avoided all the thorns. We immediately start talking, and she said she had the same creepy feeling about that guy too, but didn't say anything at the time either. She said she noticed that he had given her dog kind of a dirty look, which is what made her feel uncomfortable. She had also caught a few glimpses of his face while we were running from him, and she said he looked absolutely livid. Her mom got home, and we told her what happened. Now, her mom is not someone I'm a fan of. She merely tells us that he was probably an off-duty cop coming to check on us to make sure we were okay, since we were two young girls alone in the woods. Neither of us bought her explanation, but she managed to make us feel like idiots. I never mentioned anything to my mom because she would have just blamed us for going for a walk by ourselves, so nothing came of it. That was also the last time we went into the woods, just the two of us. We only ever went with a group of friends or her older brother, but we never saw him again. As an adult, I realized how truly messed up the situation was. The guy had to have been 6'2" and in his 40s. I was 5'1" and my friend was 5'3". We both looked even younger than 15 because I still had people at restaurants automatically giving me a child's menu when we went out to eat. So there wasn't any real excuse for a grown man following two young females into a secluded part of the woods when we were obviously scared of him. So it's been over a decade now, and we live in the same neighborhood and frequent the park. The dirt trail is now paved and a lot of the trees have been cleared away. I still to this day can't go to this park without looking for that guy though, or keeping a constant lookout for someone to start following me. So I truly hope I never ever meet this creep again, even though so much time has passed. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 3 True Scary Stories, episode 432. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Just a heads up for you True Scary Stories fans, there will not be one on... see, this goes up on Wednesday. There will not be one on Monday, just because I had to make the videos far in advance and I couldn't get the stories for it. Well, I think we'll have something else up then, I don't know, maybe Revenge or something along those lines. But there will be a video, just not what you were expecting. It's the price we pay for letting old Hellfreezer have a bit of a rest. But hopefully we should be back to normal by Tuesday, Wednesday that week. Well, Wednesday will be the next video for that, the Wednesday of that week. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, if I've worked this out properly, then this will be the 18th that this is up on. My birthday's on the 19th, and I might do a birthday stream. Maybe just 1 or 2 hours, not super long. Because I did quite enjoy the birthday stream I did last year, and it didn't even seem like a year ago, but it has been. So, no promises, but I might pop up for a birthday stream, just to check in, say hi, make sure everybody's okay. and that will actually be the first stream welcoming our new channel moderator, and that is Shigar. We've been with the channel for a little while, and we needed a new mod, so he's our new mod. And this will be the first stream where he's actually had mod powers, so you'll be able to crack the whip. Well, not really, most of you guys are fine. Okay, enough blathering on, I'll head off for now, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.